I don't want her involved in this.
Made contact and shattered.
At some point, Chris locates what's called a dry bag.
Law enforcement had considered Laundrie the only person of interest in the murder of his fiancée, Gabby Petito.
On reference to a missing 4-year-old, the parents have called in and advised that the mother had went for a walk, came home, now they can't find her. They've been yelling for her. She's been gone for about 10 minutes now.
Turn it over to another agency. Let's get some help.
Hello? John. Everybody's going home.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for being here for another ATS morning live stream. It's kind of cloudy here on the East Coast in New York. How's everybody doing there? I see Florida's here, Karen, Melmac. Thank you guys for being here, and everyone else who is joining. Georgie, it's good to see you guys. So I have some things I want to go through. I want to start with some facts. Good morning, Doug. Isn't it early there for you? And if you guys haven't seen No Thanks Investigates, he's got really interesting live streams, and the channel's really good, so you guys should definitely check that out. And I know I've seen some people in chat here over in his chat, so we're so happy to have you guys. And hello, Brookie. It's good to see you. One love. Hello. So I almost didn't wake up. You know how sometimes you sleep and you get like a crease on your face? I don't know if you could see if I had like a sleep crease on my face. And I was like, I don't know if I should go on camera, but we're here. So before we get into a lot of like speculative, just, I don't want to say that it's conjecture, but it is. You know, we are going to just play around with pretending we're body language experts, I guess. I don't claim to be a body language expert and all that, but I just put together something that I want to go through with you guys, and it has to do with Sammi, the friend who herself has said that she is the last person to have talked to Kiely after Kiely went missing. And obviously this was all before her body in the car was recovered, but this is coming from Sammi, everything that we're going to go through. And you know, everyone's kind of broken down her interviews anyways. So instead of going through her interview and breaking it down with you guys, like in its entirety, I've decided to just clip out parts where I feel like her body language was a little strange. And again, not an expert in body language, just want to go through this with you guys because I know you guys understand how my mind works, and it's going to make sense once I lay this out, I feel. So before I get into all that, I want to just talk about some of the notes I had taken from Judy Ron's stream with Barbara Butcher, who is the chief of staff. Well, she was. Now I believe she's retired. But she's done over 5,500 death investigations. She's worked alongside of Ed Wallace. She was his boss, and everyone knows that he is Judy Ron's co-host, who was the crime scene expert. He's now retired. They're all New York PD, so that's their experience. Very large city, lots of unfortunately murders and stuff like that they've handled in their careers. So I'm just going to reference the live stream that they did together, which I believe was Friday or sometime last week, maybe Thursday. You guys should definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. But yeah, I'm going to be referencing that too. So before we get down to it, I really want to just say that just something to kind of keep us, what's the word? Planted in reality in a way, I guess. Like keep one foot in reality. And then, of course, like we always do, I like you guys to kind of brainstorm and think outside the box and figure out, you know, what might have happened to Kiely, when might it have happened to her, because obviously we're hearing about this tow truck guy, and that's throwing my entire timeline off. It's throwing my entire theory off. You know, I don't know if she was driving at night and drove into the water on accident. Now I'm feeling like if he had seen her the next day, then the theory that this was an accident that she made after leaving the party, that's kind of out the window. What are you guys thinking? And good morning, Cats Meow. Good to see you. I don't know. That all is throwing me off. But like I said, just to keep us planted in some sort of reality, these are sort of the things that are going to need to keep us in touch with things. So, obviously the black box in the Honda 2013 CRV is going to be incredibly vital. It's going to be needed for every single question that I've been seeing on these 6-hour live streams. And again, I pop in and out. I'm all over the place, just gathering information and feeling out what people are feeling as far as like their theories and stuff like that. Hold on, let me just pull up the baby monitor while I'm talking. Okay, so there's just a lot of like questions, obviously, and it's understandable because we haven't really heard much from law enforcement at all, Nevada County. I do want to say that the California Highway, what is their entire name? The ones that they're doing the accident portion of the investigation. Anyways, they're separate from Nevada County. So I have a little bit of faith in hopes that, since they're a different entity, that they'll be able to do an investigation where we won't have to wonder, like, because Prosser and Nevada County have definitely lost our confidence. California Highway Patrol. Yes, Mo, thank you so much. Yes, thanks, Brookie. My head was just all over the place. Thank you, Doug. Okay, so here's the thing. Like, don't they have the black box by now? You know what I mean? Like, they have to have the information from that hard drive at least, so they know not only everything that we've talked about, the speed of the car, blah, 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 blah. You all know. But they're going to know the exact date that car hit the water. So we're all like, did this happen after the party? Was she leaving around 12:30 and something happened and blah, blah, blah. The black box is going to know. I mean, by now they should already have the CCTV footage from this tow truck guy, which is throwing everything off too for me, because I need to know if this is legit. I'm not saying that he's not legit. I'm just saying I want to know indefinitely. So the black box is definitely going to give us all the information. And you know what's interesting too about the black box that I know people have mentioned, but it's kind of been graced over a little bit. They will be able to detect steering input. So if somebody was pushing that car in, I mean, they're going to know. They know by now, I would think. I mean, the black box would have to have told them by now, like the steering input, was it somebody really driving or was somebody just pushing it? That's all going to be documented. So they're not going to be able to hide the aspect of, did they push that car in? And they have to know that behind the scenes. And it's just, the silence is deafening. And it's like, does it mean something? Like, we're all sitting here wondering if this is a criminal investigation yet. Like, they haven't even announced publicly, like, what's going on here. Good morning, Pearls of Wisdom. Good to see you. I feel almost stupid, like, sitting here talking and doing these live streams, because I'm like, they haven't even come out and said if this is a criminal investigation, but there's just so much mystery. And like, I just need to work through this stuff, like with you guys. Obviously, if they have found her phone, they've been able to take whatever they can from that. The autopsy, even though they said that they weren't going to give us our results until November 1st, the information for the investigation until November 1st, they have to have known, they have to know some of the stuff from the autopsy. That's not going to take 2 months. The toxicology, of course, will take a while. But as far as like things on the autopsy, again, just in my notes here and just from hearing Barbara Butcher on Duty Ron, the body definitely, being in water that long, 14 some odd days, the tissue, everything's going to get, I hate to say this, but mushy. That's why flipping the vehicle was definitely a no-no, like in their eyes. And I think everyone else is like, why would you flip that? the flipping of the vehicle could have damaged her body even more. And we're trying to, that body, the fact that, I mean, we've followed cases where they haven't even found a body, Summer Wells, Dylan Rounds, like there's so many, I mean, Madeleine McCain, there's all these cases that I've followed that if we could just get the body and be able to examine it or see like what, is left of it, then that's so important. But here, this case, they were practically handed it on a silver platter. And they treated it as if like, okay, well, honestly, I feel like they treated that scene as if it was an accident. And they didn't care to preserve it in a way that a crime scene should be preserved, in my opinion. I don't know if it was because they thought, wow, this teen really did drive in here drunk and, oh, how unfortunate. Well, come on, guys, let's gather it up. Let's clear this lake out. Like, instead, it should have been treated like, holy cow, we screwed up. Tape this place off. Get the divers in. Get that SUV out on its roof, keep everything exactly how it was. They should have brought it out on the roof. By the time they get it to the forensics garage, they would have taken 1 million photos of just how it was, pulling it out, just like it was, So now we have to wonder, with her body being in there so long, were things damaged on the body where it's going to prevent, and even, I mean, the autopsy is probably already a little bit rocky and not as great because of how long she was in the body or in the water for. So according to Barbara Butcher in my notes, she said it's going to make for a very difficult and complicated exam. And it's just unfortunate because she said, the temperature of the water. We had Nick Rinn from AWP pop on that live stream, and he gave his exact notes from his dive log, which indicated that the temperature of the water was 73 degrees. He said that there's a buffer because of, just computers aren't always 100% accurate. So he's saying 73 to 75 is the temperature of the water that day on his dive. And Barbara Butcher's saying that's just, it's too warm. It's too warm for the best conditions for a more accurate toxicology, alcohol, blood content screening. She was saying that, it's just, even if there was damage done to her body while it was flipping, I mean, they'll be able to know, obviously if she has trauma to the head or trauma to her neck, or if she was asphyxiated, she said, Barbara was saying that they'll be able to tell by, I don't want to screw the word up, but it starts with a P, petitia in the eyes, pretty much like when you're strangled. Let's say she was killed before she went into the water. They'll be able to tell. The fact that she was in the water so long will make it difficult, Barbara was saying, but there's ways that they can tell if she was strangled, by her eyes, the blood vessels that pop, which will be different than if she just drowned. She was also saying that, something that we were hoping that you would be able to tell if she drowned or not, because her lungs would fill with water. But Barbara is saying, her being in the water that long, everything's just going to kind of seep in. It'll seep in your nose, So she wasn't petechial hemorrhage. Thank you. Petechial hemorrhage. Thank you so much, Lauren. I love you guys. And thank you, Amanda. Good morning. You're up early too. And I hope the little one's doing well. Petechial. Okay, petechial. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. So she was saying that regardless of the water in the lungs, it's going to seep in there regardless if she was alive beforehand. So that's going to be a little bit difficult. She was saying that you swallow water too when you drowned. So if she was fighting and alive in there and she would have been swallowing a lot of water, her stomach would have been full. So if the autopsy was done sooner, you would see oh yeah, she swallowed a bunch of water. Well, now it's been how many days that she's been in the water? Everything's going to kind of fill with water anyways. There would be a more significant amount of water in the stomach, comparing those scenarios, but Barbara wasn't sure exactly the right amount that would indicate that she was alive or dead beforehand. So it's going to be just a very difficult examination from what I've seen. Hold on, let me share my screen real quick. And thank you guys for being here with me again. I really appreciate it. Good morning, everyone, again, who has joined. Can you see my screen? Google. Okay. So this was just vitreous humor.
Vitreous humor.
The vitreous body is a clear gel that fills the space between the lens and the retina of the eyeball in humans and other vertebrates. It is often referred to as a vitreous humor and simply the vitreous. So this
Vitreous humor.
Gel-like substance, it's a transparent, colorless, gel-like substance. It fills the space between your lens and the retina. That will be used by the medical examiner, or the pathologist, she was saying, to extract, like with a needle, they extract some gel, and then they test that for the toxicology. So that was just I thought that was interesting, they'll use that and test that for the blood and alcohol and all that, or at least the toxicology. You guys have to watch the live stream because I'm only giving you like the layman's like notes, and my notes are so messy. Like, you guys just have to watch the whole live stream. I've watched it like 3 times. It's very informative. Let's see, what else was she saying? So obviously, you guys, I don't know if you've seen Nick Wren hop on there, but he kind of gave his scenario of what he's seen that day. And some of the quotes I have from him were expect the worst, but hope for the best. And I think that that is one of the best quotes in life that anyone can use. He didn't want to stumble upon Kiely's remains, but he had a mission and a duty to go down there and see what was up. And like, I just think that phrase is just very versatile in every scenario in life, not just diving for AWP, but, expect the worst, hope for the best. He was unsure the exact location and position of the vehicle. I know that Doug has said that the front of the SUV was facing out of the lake and the rear of it was facing like the shoreline. But when they asked Nick, he was a little uncertain. So I thought that was noteworthy. Just, it would be interesting, like, because what if Doug was wrong? You know what I mean? Like, I want to know the exact positioning. And of course, by them dragging the vehicle out after they flipped it, it kind of ruins the whole visual of like, how was this out there? So he said, and I quoted this, when they asked him, like, did you see anything when you were looking in the vehicle? You stopped at that one side for a while. He said he saw blankets or pieces of clothing. So I thought that was noteworthy. And, people have speculated, was she clothed or was she nude? It's out there. So when I heard him say that he saw something that looked like a blanket or pieces of clothing, I couldn't help but think, like, was it clothing? And, people have said that they've seen, I think Amanda's pointed out, they see her white hoodie, the one that says future on it, odd future, like in the front area. So she wasn't wearing that one. Now we have Nick saying he saw blankets or pieces of clothing around the car, and everyone's talking about her possibly being nude. I'm just like, oh my gosh. He didn't see anything until he saw legs and feet area. In the video, he says, I see a pair of shoes. And then on Duty Ron, he was saying he didn't notice anything until he saw legs and feet. So I'm thinking, like, were those feet bare and the pair of shoes were just something he'd seen, like, separate? Or when he was saying he's seeing legs and feet area, was that him seeing the shoes on her feet? Like, I just had questions there. So he was asked if he saw any indications on the vehicle of signs that she tried to get out, like a window that might have been like spidered, or sometimes people will take, anything in their car and try to get it out the window, He said no obvious marks. He said no pretty much when he was asked for if he had seen signs of her trying to escape. And again, he's saying no, but he's also said that he didn't expect all these questions to kind of come at him. So even though he's saying no, I'm not saying it doesn't mean that there weren't marks for them to escape. There very well could have been. So, but according to him, he's saying no. So that would be interesting. But the thing is, it's just unfortunate that they broke that driver's side window, because of all windows, that's going to be the window. Like if she's in the driver's seat and something had happened, you're going to try to get out that window. Although the passenger window is wide open. So it's just, if we had that driver's side window intact, we could at least discount indefinitely that, no, there was no markings on the driver's side window. It doesn't look like she tried to get out at all, but they broke it. So now it's like, we can't even narrow that out of our realm of possibilities. You guys know what I'm saying? Somebody said hi to Seeking the Truth with Dave. Is he here? And good morning, Allegedly with Brittany. It's good to see you. Oh, good morning, Seeking the Truth with Dave. I'm glad you're home safe. The passenger window was broken out, right? Yes, Seagate. Passenger window. In the video, AWP, I believe Nick says, passenger window broken out. But now that we're kind of going through things, it's pretty much, we don't know for sure 100%. We're going by 100%. We don't know 100% if it was in fact broken or if it was just down all the way. And that's just reality. Like they know, I'm sure they know 100%, but we in fact do not know. So that'll be interesting to find out. Let me see if there's anything on these. So yeah, it is said that the alcohol test for the blood is still going to be difficult because of the amount of time in the water. And not only that, say she was drunk and she was drowning and fighting, to breathe and all that. When she's, hold on. Oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. I turned my camera off instead of the mute button and sniffed. Oh my gosh, sorry guys. I need more coffee. I'm talking too much. I need more coffee. All right. So if she was fighting and she was drunk in the water that she swallows and kind of takes into her bloodstream just through the drowning process, that would dilute the blood and alcohol level for them to test just from her drowning. So not only is it going to be difficult because of the time she spent in the water, but for anybody who drowns, if they're drunk, the blood alcohol ratio and test will be a little bit off because you've diluted your bloodstream pretty much. So your bloodstream isn't going to be the exact BAC as it would have been if you weren't obviously inhaling and drowning, swallowing water. So I thought that was interesting. Let me see. So I think that this is very noteworthy, and I know other YouTubers, including Doug on No Things Investigates and Brookie, you guys have pointed this out. I don't have a picture of the vehicle, but I know you guys have seen it. The driver's seat position looks very far back to me. Looks extremely far back, actually, because you can't see the headrest at all looking into the car. She was 5'7". I'm much shorter than her, but at the same time, there should be her seat should be closer to the steering wheel. If you guys look at the picture, I'm certain you'll agree. And comment down below for those who are watching replay. I really appreciate you being here. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. And good morning, Lucia. Good to see you. Okay, so Karen and others I know have noticed the seat position being far back. And like we said earlier, the black box will know so much. Like they have to know right now if it's foul play or not, just from the black box. They'll know, the steering input. So was somebody just leaning in the car and steering? I'll show you something else too. So obviously you guys have seen this photo with the seatbelt. So I just want to leave that up for a minute. I think there is bourbon in your morning coffee cup. No, Dave. I wish. No, I can't start the day off like that. So do we know if her seats were cloth or leather? Does anyone know that? Regardless, I'm curious if there would be a way to put luminol. You guys know what luminol is, you know, with the forensics element that they use to pull up body fluids and you know what I mean? They use the black light. Would that be able to be used on the vehicle once it's dried out in the forensics garage? You know, that's something I noted, and I'm not sure if it's, you know, would they be able to use it? I don't know. But I hope that they're trying everything just to see what would pull up, you know, like would there be bodily fluids or would there be blood? Would there be other people's DNA? You know, that is very important. And speaking of DNA, the laptop found, the beanie hat that was found, and the hairbrush that was found should not have been handled with, hold on, I'm checking my Instagram, Brookie, I got your message. Those should not have been handled at all as far as by anyone besides law enforcement, even though law enforcement was, you know, neglectful enough to leave it out there. A hat obviously is very vital for DNA evidence, and a brush, 100%, you know, DNA on that. The laptop could have had fingerprints on it still, even though it was in water, you could still pull them. Those items could directly link somebody else in the vehicle with her, and they'll all have their excuse. They'll have the oh, thank you, Brookie. So obviously you guys, you've seen this photo, but as you can see here, I mean, there's no headrest. That is how far back her seat was. I think that that's suspicious. I know a lot of people do too. So, you know, it's noteworthy in my opinion. So thank you, Brookie. The fact that, you know, those items were in the car, you know, the teenagers can make up an excuse like, oh, well, I told, like Sammy, I told you we were going to her car and we were drinking. I told you other people were in the car with us, you know, and let them come up with the excuse with law enforcement in a recorded interview. Let them explain why their fingerprints were found here, why their DNA was found there. Everything needs to be combed through, and everything needs to be tested and all that, and documented and put in evidence, you know, and then they can explain why their beanie hat was there and why we found this and that in the car. I mean, the car is the crime scene. If you have something that's linking you to the crime scene, we're going to have to go through everything that you did and what put you there and what placed these items there. Like, sorry. So all that I hope are being done. And in addition to the black box and the autopsy being vital here, cell phone metadata, not only Kiely's, but everyone else, we need to know where their positions were, you know, the pings, all that's going to be ran through. And if you're a friend, excuse me, if you're a friend and you have nothing to do with anything nefarious against this girl, you would have no problem. Yes, pull it. You don't even need a warrant for my phone information. Here you go. Everything should just be able to explain itself, right? If it can't explain itself, then we have a problem. So this right here is, I believe, the back of the vehicle. You guys see those markings. People have pointed it out. It's very interesting. This is a little bit more advanced photo that I did. Hold on. Let me go back. So this one I've sort of enhanced a little bit through the editing program, but looks like black paint, or it's scraped the SUV, her SUV, so much that it took away the factory paint on her car. Either way, what is this? Okay, Brookie, hold on. Paint shipped under the light and above the tailgate. Oh, yes. I'll have to add this one because I don't have, I'm not going to go through, I can't even show you guys here. But there is paint shipped to there. I'll put that on my community page. Thank you, Brookie. And anyone who can link her channel as well, please do so in chat. She's got good information, let me tell you. Really good brainstormer there. So this is something that somebody shared with me. Again, we're just speculating. We're just kind of playing around with theories and ideas. This is something that CHP knows more about. They know more than us. They're separate. They're a separate entity than Nevada County and Prosser County. So keep that in mind. The people who are going through the investigation for the car are not the same agencies that have pretty much disappointed us thus far, right? I mean, it is what it is. If they're going to try and brush this off as an accident, people aren't going to really believe it 100% right now because we've lost faith and confidence in the agencies, and it's their own fault. But like I said, the black box, it's not going to lie, So was this a scenario that took place, you think? Her car perhaps being bumped? Let's say nobody was in the car and they're ditching it with her in the trunk cargo area. Was another car used to push her in? You know what I mean? Don't have to touch the vehicle at all. You just use your vehicle and push it enough to where, it's in neutral. Once you give it a nudge, there it goes. However, this damage, we don't know if Kiely had this damage before this night or not. So we have to keep that up on the table. She could have had this damage on her vehicle. Good morning, Alex. Good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. But let's say that this damage wasn't there beforehand. That's pretty aggressive looking. Even if it was somebody bumping the car, that's a lot right there. And the picture that Brookie sent me, which is in a different location that paint was chipped out of. LFT, good to see you. Took me a minute to realize chip paint was around the brake light. Had to compute the whole upside down factor. I know it's like a head screw. I don't want to say the F word, but yeah, it's like a mind screw. Her being upside down and all that. It's just very, which I don't understand too, with the flipping. With the windows open and just physics in general, why would you flip the vehicle and lose the contents? It's just, I just can't believe it. So again, where are these marks coming from? Was this like part of I don't know, because if her passenger window is broken by somebody, again, we don't know if it was broken or if it was just rolled down all the way. These markings, like what was taking place? Was she like being attacked? Brain teaser. That's a good one, C-Dub. Thank you. And it's good to see you. Thanks for being here. I don't know, guys. I just have a lot of questions when it comes to this damage on the vehicle. It would take a lot, I guess, to kind of leave these marks in a way that they have, I feel. We know that Sammy's car is red. There's a picture of her in the media putting a Find Kiely sticker on her car, and it's a red car. So I don't know. Does this narrow down? I honestly, guys, I'm just showing this to you because I'm just kind of like, what? I don't know what to think of it. What are you guys thinking? And again, remember this. This was weeks ago. What do you guys think of this? I wonder if the laptop and beanie, etc., were planted after the search. And now that we're on the laptop discussion and things being planted, I forget that people will do stuff like that for attention. I forget that people will come out and say that they knew the victim or the perpetrator just for attention in cases. We've seen it time and time again. Remember in the Watts case, the man who came forward and that other female that came forward claiming that they had slept with him too? Come to find out, none of them were legit. And even the FBI went through and realized, like, we have no connection to these people, to Chris. Is that what's taken place here? An easy way to find out is the serial number on that laptop will match the serial number to whatever laptop Kiely owned. Everything's got a number. Everything's got an identification. They would be able, yes, Trent Bolt. Remember him? they will be able to narrow down exactly whose laptop that is, when it was purchased. And that will give us an indication, was that really Kiely's laptop? I'd like to think that people wouldn't make something up like that. But again, I'm realizing that like maybe I was a little naive to think that like the police left that there and this guy is just finding it out of the goodness of his heart. I'm not saying that he's not. I'm just saying we really don't know if we're gonna go by it as like a factual thing. Like we don't know 100% if that's Kiely's laptop. And I just have to say that because it's true. We don't 100% know. It likely is, but the serial number will know for sure. So going back to the damage on the car and it looking like it's black. Hold on, I gotta go grab more coffee. Remember this? That was on, I believe, Facebook. Whatever happened to this black BMW? We talked about it on other live streams too, and we were under the consensus that it seemed like law enforcement was interested in the fact that they brought this up, just from their response here. Where did you hear that? Was there a black BMW at the party with heavily tinted windows? This could absolutely be absolutely nothing. But just looking at the car, just looking at the damage on it, if it's black paint, maybe it's not black paint. You know, maybe that damage was there before, you know. Let me see if there's anything else I want to go through before. So yeah, not only will the black box indicate everything else we've talked about, but it's going to give an indication of when parts of the car started shutting down because of water intrusion. So that's going to be interesting too. You know what I mean? Let's see. Oh yeah. So time of death. That the fact that they're not giving us cause and manner, you know, right now is one thing, but what we really need to know is like the time of death. Will they be able to determine that? And I watched it, like I said, 2-3 times, that Duty Run live stream with Nick Wren from AWP and Barbara Butcher. I've watched it literally 3 times, and I realized that they never got a chance to ask her, will you be able to narrow down the time of death during the autopsy? You know, with the water, the temperature it was, I'm curious if that's even going to be able for them to point out. Okay, guys, so there's other things before the Sammi stuff I want to get to. Oh my gosh, guys. God. This video, okay, so they pulled this up on Duty Ron, and one of his wonderful subscribers pointed out that you can see something leave the window. I've watched it over and over. I obviously slowed it down here for you guys. Let me play in 1 second. I'm just pulling up the baby monitor. Okay, so she's starting to wake up, but she's got like her toys and stuff. So we got some time still. All right, so watch this little clip with me. It's in slow motion. You can see something fall out the window. I want to say it's a Truly can, or it's something very light like that. And again, going back to fingerprinting and DNA, and you know, we have Sammi who said, I drank out of the same stuff she did. Okay, well, so is that why your DNA is on this Truly can? You know what I mean? Like, she's just got a lot of explaining to do if these things were processed the way they should have been. Here we see it leave the vehicle, you know? So was that gathered? Like, I want to know, what if it's not Sammy's DNA and it's somebody else's DNA? Who is this other person? Why were they with Kiely, who is now deceased? These things are so important if this is a can. So let me press play. Now keep watching the part where the side mirror would be. Okay, started it over. I guess I missed it. Did you guys see it? Keep watching. Something falls out. There it goes. Did you see? I'll rewind it again. Hold on. There it goes. And then I'm going to play it again because I did them back to back. You do see something fall out. Okay, you guys are seeing it. So I'm very much hoping that whatever fell out here was gathered and tested, because this is without a doubt something that came from her vehicle, where there's questions up in the air about the laptop and those items. You know, were those really in Kiely's car? Blah, blah, blah. People are always speculating. Well, whatever fell out here was definitely in her car. Lost. FBI guy or female facing the other way, not even looking. Ridiculous. Okay, Alex, do what you got to do. We're happy you're here. Okay. Now I want to get into something. Let me share my screen and give you an idea of where I'm going with this, because it's going to make more sense. Okay, so I was corny and looked up, well, obviously I've studied body language in other cases, and there's been instances where we thought that somebody was lying and they weren't, So again, I'm not saying that this is by far the best technique and this is a scientific exact method, etc. It's just some article I read online. There you go. Showing it to you. That is what I'm reading in this audio clip. I didn't read the whole thing. I only read certain parts that kind of pertain to what I want to go through with you guys. So actually, let me share one more thing before we get into the whole body language of Sammi. And again, what I like to think of is these aren't telltale signs that someone's lying. What I like to think is these are telltale signs that somebody is under stress. They're feeling stress eternally, and it's manifesting in these body language movements, etc. And again, this is just speculative. But before I do that, I realize that I do want to play something else that's so important to this whole concept and live stream that we've gone through so far. And I forgot to put it up now. So you guys know that I've studied the death investigation of Kurt Cobain. That is a death investigation that was labeled as one manner. And I know you guys know that they have him labeled as he unalived himself with a gun. I guess that's the YouTube best way to say it, because they don't like us to say the other manner. Sorry. So in my opinion, this case, Kurt Cobain case, is an exact example of a case that was mishandled, and there was a rush to judgment and bad police work, rush to judgment on this case. And his cause and manner of death, I believe, is wrong, but nobody has changed it in over 30-something years. And this doctor on the screen, he is world-renowned. Like, he's done famous autopsies, like Michael Jackson. He was there at JFK's, I believe. He's just, you guys have to recognize him. He's done all this other commentary on other cases. Dr. Weck, I believe it is called. Regardless, he is a forensic pathologist, which that's the other thing. We don't know what kind of pathologist will be doing Kiely's exam. Is it a forensics one, which their expertise is a little bit different than a hospital pathologist. So I'm using this example to show you of a case where a rush to judgment was made and people aren't 100% believing law enforcement. They lost confidence in law enforcement. And I don't want this to be the way that Kiely's case goes, because if they come out and they say that this was an accident, we're sorry, it is what it is, people have already lost faith in everything they've done so far. And this pretty much, it speaks for itself. So let me just press play. They're also going to talk from a police perspective in this little clip too, about how things should go, and death investigations should be handled as, suspicious circumstances. And then you can rule out the suspicion once you've done the investigation thoroughly, once you've ran the evidence, once you've interviewed everybody. Everything has to match up in the death investigation, and then you can discount that it was a murder, but everything needs to be done first as far as tests and all that. You know what I mean? Like, we need 100% fingerprint that entire car. We need to know where everybody was. We can't label this a certain way until we mark everything else off. So give me a second. I'll play this little clip. It's just a small one, but it kind of like reiterates what I'm just saying. They need to handle every case as if there might be a suspicious outcome or circumstance to it. And then they can rule out homicide. And I slowed it down just one notch. I slowed it down so that we can kind of listen very closely.
As a homicide commander, I would not be making any proclamations that the case was a suicide without the evidence having been processed, the victimology.
Again, they're talking about Kurt's case. So that's why they're saying that one manner of death. Here we would replace unalive himself with, I wouldn't be saying that this was an accident without processing the evidence, the victimology. Thank you, Brookie, so much. And somebody, I'm so sorry. Somebody sent me a super chat earlier and I think I missed it. It was yellow. I'm sorry, guys. I was like all over the place and I seen it and I meant to pull it up and thank you guys for it. Do you guys remember who sent it, or can you see on your end? Because I really want to thank you guys. No, I don't see it. Okay, I'll try to find it though. But, oh, wait. Okay, hold on. Let me just play this.
The medical legal process, toxicology, it's a death investigation.
They knew nothing about the drug level. They knew nothing about fingerprints. They knew nothing about anything else at that time except that they had found him with a shotgun.
The reason we call things death.
Okay, thank you, Pearls of Wisdom. I found it. Thank you so much for the super chat. Hold on, guys. I want to rewind this real quick because I just spazzing all over the place.
This was a suicide. Is not the way good police agencies would function today.
As a homicide commander, I would not be making any proclamations that the case was a suicide without the evidence having been processed, the victimology, the medical legal process, toxicology. It's a death investigation.
They knew nothing about the drug level. They knew nothing about fingerprints. They knew nothing about anything else at that time except that they had found him with a shotgun.
The reason we call things death investigations is that we don't want to prematurely make them homicides, suicides, or accidents. It's a death investigation.
Cases that involve prominent figures, these cases usually take more time because you know that there are going to be more questions. People are going to know every single thing about it. In the Philip Seymour Hoffman case, they found him with a needle in his arm. They found 50 bags of heroin right there in his apartment. And yet they did not make any announcement beyond that. They knew that they should not be commenting.
So again, that was just a little bit of insight from a forensic pathologist and an ex-homicide commander who was in the NYPD. Those are their experience and advice about how to handle a death investigation. And of course, that one is referring to Kurt Cobain's, but it's the same concept here with Kiely's, you know, like you can't come out, and they haven't yet, but, you know, everything needs to be crossed off and gone through 100%. And maybe that's why they said we're not going to hear anything until November 1st. They're processing the toxicology. They're going through the statements of the friends. They're going through the phone data of the friends. Anyone that was with her that night needs to, you know, be looked at. So I hope you guys got where I was going there.
Brian will often show it.
Okay, so here, I'm just going to read through that article, and I don't read the whole article, just things that kind of stand out to me that might pertain. And hi, good morning, CDT, that might pertain to this case. Because some of the body language things they're saying, like, you kind of have to be in person for. So I only picked out the ones that we can use through virtual, like looking through the screen at her. So let me just play the pre-recorded. Yes, Dr. Wet, he is so educated and professional. Yes, he's fascinating to listen to for sure. Let me just play the pre-recorded audio of me reading this article about ways to tell if someone's being deceitful. Again, this isn't exact science, just stuff I'm referencing. You can actually go on YouTube itself and look at body language of someone lying, and there's a whole bunch of videos that go through and tell you, like, this could indicate deceit, this could blah, 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 blah. So everything you can cross-reference yourself and kind of look at this in your own time, in your own way, and see what you think, you know, not even with just this case, but it's just a good thing to kind of know, even though, like I said, it's not an exact science. I'm not even saying that they're showing signs that they're lying. I feel like it's more showing signs that they're uncomfortable, you know? So what's causing them to have stress that they're manifesting in physical ways, like touching their face. So what I want to say too, before I get into this, and it absolutely could mean absolutely nothing. But without the autopsy and more information, I can't help but note this stuff and feel like, what if this means something? So in the article, in the interview that Sami did with All American Dream Chaser, it was only 13 minutes long. She touched her neck area 3 times. She touches her ear twice. She touches her head and her hair 8 times. She mentions the word fighting and fights 6 times. So again, I'm not going to show you all those little clips here that I'm going to play for you. But if you guys go back and watch the 13-minute interview, you'll see for yourself, you know, and again, like I said, these could mean absolutely nothing. It might not come into any play, you know, but in my opinion, there's a lot of filibuster, which means like she's giving unnecessary information. In that interview, I believe, yes, self-soothing, Seagate, yes, a lot of self-soothing mannerisms. There's a part where, you know, she kind of does this. She tightens her lips. She makes her mouth area very tight. And some body language experts believe that that's a telltale sign that I know more about this, but I'm not saying it. So keep that in mind also. Good morning, Mrs. Kurt Cobain. Yes, this case is so crazy and so good to see you. So again, just pay attention to these things. And the reason why I mentioned her touching her head and neck area is because in other cases, law enforcement has used those, a technique pretty much where they, I hate to always reference the Watts case, but okay. In Chris Watts' interview with FBI, he was touching his neck a lot. And so the FBI and CBI indicated just by those mannerisms that they believed before they found Shanann's body that he had strangled her, just based on the fact that he was touching his neck a lot. I believe that there's more to that case, but that's for another day. But pretty much if I'm going to go by that same technique that they used against Chris Watts, you know, why is Sami touching her head and hair area 8 times? You know, People have theorized about the seatbelt hanging out the back. What does that mean? What was it used for? They've theorized that she had it wrapped around her. At one point, we'll get there. We'll get there. I'll pause it when we get there. Okay.
With their body language. Oftentimes, they will shrink in on themselves, slouching and slumping to subconsciously protect their body while they're deceiving you. As a rule, the more someone allows their body to be open, the more likely it is they are being honest. That is because your body is open, you are more physically vulnerable. Psychologist John Paul Garrison told Insider. If you observe someone change their body language to close off their body or do behaviors to calm themselves, examples touching their face, rubbing their forehead, then it is possible they are lying. Look them in the eye. We've all heard the phrase, "look me in the eyes," in reference to when someone is lying, but it turns out there is actually a lot of truth to that. Lack of eye contact is one of the first nonverbal signs that someone is being deceitful. Eye contact is something personal and intimate. If someone is lying, they often want to disengage with you and depersonalize the situation. Notice the rate of their movement. Lying people typically want to trick the questioner into thinking they're calmer than they are, so their movements will reflect that. Oftentimes, they will keep their hands at their sides, sit extremely still, speak slowly, and keep their facial movements to a minimum, because they may be trying to fake an aura of calm. These behaviors can actually be a huge tell that they're lying. Pay attention to their story. Unless they're incredibly skilled at lying, most liars will have inconsistencies in their story. Did they talk about meeting a different friend before? Did they mention a store that's gone out of business? Did they claim to speak with a person who you know has been out of the country? If you're suspicious, listen closely to their story. Catching them in a lie may be as easy as questioning one slip-up. Lean in. If the person you're accusing of lying is leaning away from you, that could be a telltale sign that they're uncomfortable and their body is betraying them and exposing that. Check to see if the person crosses their legs away from you, turns their back to you, or places their hands on their opposite side from you. You can also pay attention to see if they are leaning towards or pointing their feet towards the exit in a room. If this happens, increase your body language towards them. See if they respond. People do not like to be exposed to intimacy and close quarters when they're lying. Pay attention to how they shake their head. Your body can betray you so often when lying, and even a simple tip of the head can be your doom. Former CIA officers take the identification of cues a step further to discover if someone is lying. One example mentioned is verbal and nonverbal disconnect. If someone is saying yes, but shaking their head no, this is a potential sign of deceit.
Okay, so now that we've got a little bit of things to look out for, the one where it talked about look at their feet, the position of their feet, a lot of times they'll point it towards the door because they don't really, their body is saying, I want to get out of here. I don't want to have this conversation with you because I'm going to lie to you. We can't see that in this interview because obviously she's in her car. But I left that part in there because I feel like there's times where she's like always looking over her shoulder or looking out the window. And, you know, it could be that she's just distracted. But I almost feel like, what if it's just her, like, you know, she's really wanting to get out of the car. Like, I don't want to be here having this conversation with you, but I'm here and I can't leave. That's a possibility, I feel. So let's get into the clips of her. Again, these clips aren't for the audio. We are going to break down the things that kind of are making her fidget, but these clips are mostly just to look at her body and her eyes mostly. So it might say something and then it doesn't continue because it's just a clip. Go to the original, and I'll link in the description box. Go to her original interview with All American Dream Chaser, and you can see all the times that she touched her head, hair, and neck that I pointed out. And whatever else you can point out too, you know, comment down below, or, you know, comment on his video. I know a lot of people have looked at it. So let's get into her body language.
Off for mere moments from each other to go talk to other people or to go.
And here's the thing too, I'm already pausing it. her movements with her eyes, it's very quick, obviously, because it's a blinking and stuff. But sometimes people close their eyes for like a long period of time, like when they're talking, and that's like a self-soothing mechanism. So you'll see her sometimes be like, talk about something, and she's like this. It's like, could mean nothing, but to me, it's like she's self-soothing, and I don't understand if there's nothing to hide, like why there's so much of that. And that's sort of where the title of this live stream comes in and the thumbnail comes in, you know, because there is a lot of people who just think she wanted attention and clout, and unfortunately, she's getting the backlash of it. And I just want to know, if that's so, why is there so many signs that are telling us that she's being deceitful and she's uncomfortable? And I don't know. So just watch her. She's talking about going back to the car at this point, and this is when she's about to text her mom and stuff. It just seems like this part of the story, Sam was a little bit uncomfortable and stressed talking about. Because she says, and whatever else, but she doesn't explain whatever else they were doing, you know?
And told Kiely goodbye and everything, and they were never planning on like leaving together or staying together at the party. They just went to the party together because they were hanging out earlier.
And that was some like filibuster. She's talking about Mags and how she didn't arrive with Kiely, but Mags did. And then she starts talking about how Mags and Kiely were hanging out earlier in the day. It's like, okay, what does that have to do with what we're talking about now? Like, it just is a lot of like filibuster extra information, in my opinion.
Always come back to each other. We were just going around the party. We were his boyfriend, and told Kiely goodbye and everything, and they were never planning on like leaving together or staying together at the party. They just went to the party together because they were hanging out earlier in the day. And then I saw her the second she got there. Kiely and I were going around taking shots and just drinking. We were trading drinks with each other. We were sharing drinks with each other. We would go back to her car to get some alcohol sometimes, and then we just random stuff, and then it's kind of hard to remember. And so, or no, we were talking about her texting her mom and her charging her phone and stuff, and just about the party in general. And then we had a few other friends in the car, and then we all decided
at the party. The girl and guy, look into them. Was there a fight at the party?
Yeah, so there were some friendly fights that were going on. There was like, we had boxing gloves. People were like trying the single life.
Okay, so when she talks about the fights, she touches her head and hair. CDT said, I'm still curious about what point Kiely separated from Kate and met up with Mags. Yeah, that all needs to be ironed out too, because we really don't have a clear timeline of that. So that's a good point. And again, we're not here to listen to her segment of the story. We're here to watch her body as she's telling this story, and why she might be holding your eyes closed longer and fluttering the eyes, touching the head, neck, hair, self-soothing things and signs that maybe she's uncomfortable. So here, this part I felt was noteworthy because she's talking about, and I hate to even say this is noteworthy because it's just a theory and it's just kind of gruesome in a way. She's talking about Kiely being single, not having a boyfriend at the party. And she goes on and says she just wanted to be open and not tied down. And this could just be me overanalyzing. But when she says not tied down, I couldn't help but think about the seatbelt hanging out the back. What if, again, this is just speculation, not 100% accurate. And obviously I'm not a mind reader, but what if she's saying that and thinking about how Kiely was tied down? Again, I'm just speculating, and everyone's innocent until proven guilty. But I'm just saying, when she said she wanted to be single and open and not tied down, I just couldn't help but think like the word not tied down. Like, I'm sorry, but good morning, allegedly. Something I'd like to point out about cold reading, body language analysis, and verbal cues from a magician's standpoint: one doesn't need to think about true events nor inject rando info. Yeah, it should just flow organically and naturally, right? she does use a lot of past tense. That's the other thing that while we're looking at the body language, we're obviously hearing her as well. And there's times where she's like, she was, and we used to say, remember, there's like a part where she's saying, we used to say, and it's like, you're already saying used to?
Boxing gloves, people were like from the single life, like we used to say. She just wanted to be open and single and
Yeah,
have fun as a kid.
I get it. She's only 16. She's
not be tied down. You could barely hear it because he's talking about her being only 16, but as he's saying that, she's saying not tied down. And just by chance, it seems like every time I pause this interview, like to do something, or like right now, she's always got this look of like disgust on her face. And it's like, why? She's always just like, I don't know.
Can't even imagine. How's mom doing? Have you talked to her mom at all?
Yeah, so I've been in close contact with the family.
And this part I didn't, here we go again with the pausing. This part I didn't understand either. How's mom doing? He asks. Yeah, I've been in close contact with the family. Never once, and I've listened to this interview like so many times, never once does she say how the mom's doing. You know, he asks how she's doing, and all she says is, I've been in close contact with the family. It's like, not only do we get absolutely no emotion from Sam herself, from her perspective of everything, but when she's asked about the family's emotions, she has a hard time even conveying that to this guy. And I could be just being really harsh on this 18-year-old, but in my opinion, it's just very strange, you know, like she never answers his questions about how the family's doing. It's like she can't bring herself to talk about it, think about it. I don't know. Yeah, it makes it all about her, Seagate. I agree.
How they doing? She looked just a nervous wreck. I can't even imagine what she's going through.
Yeah.
Our thoughts and prayers are with, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, continue. I'm sorry.
So, you know, like I said, she never tells him how she's doing. She goes to tell him just now, starts itching her neck to be, and she was going to say to be completely honest, but then he cuts her off. So he cuts her off and she's like, perfect. Now I don't have to talk. Now I don't have to tell this. And she goes, go on, go on, go on. Go ahead, go ahead. And she makes him talk again. So here we never hear how the mom's doing. She scratches her neck. And instead of finishing her thought about it, she's happy for the interviewer to actually take the lead in the conversation and allows him to interrupt her so that she never has to finish this train of thought. So I thought that was interesting and troubling at the same time.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say our thoughts and prayers are with the family.
Did you see her biting her lip there? Now, I'm not saying it's true, but that's an indication. I know more, but I don't want to say it.
Family, it's got to be a hard time. What can we do to help find?
So this part, I put this in here, but I was going to ask chat, do you think I'm reaching or not? Hold on, let me rewind it a little bit. He's asking her, what can we do, you know, as web sleuths to kind of help things, you know, help find Kiely. And I swear he's like, what can we do? And she shakes. It's so slight. That's why I'm asking if you guys think I'm reaching or not. It's so slight, but she's shaking her head no, like even less than how I'm shaking it. It's like so slight. She shakes her head no as he's asking, how can I help? How can we help find Kiely? It's like we played earlier in that article I read, watch the way their head shakes, but their mouths say other things. So, okay, you guys see it? Saw it. Wait, what did LFT say? From what we've seen, a solid, cohesive strain of thought is not Sammy's forte, in my opinion. Yeah, for sure. So she's shaking her head no when people are saying, what can we do to help? It's like she's saying, and again, I don't know, what if she's shaking her head no because she's thinking there's nothing you can do to help find her? So again, I don't know.
time. What can we do to help find Kiely? What can we do to help you?
To everyone at this point around the world, I'm hoping that this is reaching, and if anybody's...
So she shook it no, then she shook it yes, and then now she, oh my gosh, look at the screen right now. Now she's shaking her head very slightly no when she's saying, I'm hoping the whole world is seeing this. But she's shaking her head no as she's saying, I'm hoping the whole world is seeing this. It's like, you're not hoping the whole world is seeing this. Like, and then this right here, she grits her teeth. And there's, like I said, this is a 13-minute interview. I've only taken out, I think this whole segment was like 10 minutes. So I've only taken out little bits. You guys can go back and see it, you know, a lot of head and neck touching, the ear touching too. You know, sometimes, and again, we don't have the autopsy, but I'm saying sometimes when there's head trauma, people bleed out of their ears. So again, I'm just overanalyzing, and that's all I can do until law enforcement decides to give us the cause and manner of death and the black box is exposed and all that. So that's where we are at right now. But yeah, she grits her teeth.
If anybody's seeing this, just if they can keep sharing this, get the story out to news of her clothing at all.
Okay, so I want to let's repeat that.
So when they talk about the tank top that was found, and she says that has not been confirmed, she starts like kind of talking like robotic. She's looking out the window a lot, and again, is this one of those telltale signs that we read through where, you know, their feet and body is positioning outside because they want to get away? Here she can't point her body towards the door because she's in a car. So she's looking out, you know, wanting to get out of the car. I don't know. But I did think that things were a little bit strange when they talked about the tank top. And thank you so much, Seagate, for becoming a member. We're so happy to have you here.
The spaghetti strap shirt that was claimed to have been found, that was not hers.
No, it was not hers. It was investigated by...
The other thing too is like her eyes. When she says no, sometimes like her one eye will go like this. Like she'll do like she's got like a twitch, and like I can understand that as far as, so just to say, when I'm like under stress or lying, I guess you could say, if I'm trying to like hide something, my one eye twitches. Like it's just something that ends up happening. I don't even think about it, but if I'm just trying to like lie, pretty much my one eye, it's like a muscle reaction, and it'll just be like start twitching. She has like this, like her one eye will just be like one eye kind of like closes more, flutters more.
The FBI and the cops and everything.
Thank you so much for clarifying that. So the spaghetti strap, I know you. It's
a lot of this tight-lipped. I know more. I'm not saying it to you guys though.
Stated that you know, we're not trying to create any rumors, but there was something on the Facebook page that I wanted to see if maybe you can comment on this. It says 2 days ago on the Neighbors app at 1:00 in the morning, a topless female was being chased by a Honda CRV and was pulled back into the vehicle in Sacramento, California. That's about an hour and 38 minutes away from Prosser Campground. Kiely drives the Honda CRV. Her tank top was possibly found at the scene. I know we just discussed that. We can't verify that is true. Down the road from they're saying her tank top was found at the scene down the road from the Prosser Campground. The timestamps could be off due to a camera clock being accurate or inaccurate. But I don't know is there anything you can comment on that?
Yeah, so we are investigating into that currently.
So I don't know if you guys remember what I read through, but posture was one of the things that they said to kind of pay attention to. Sometimes somebody will sit up straight. So she just kind of did that, and then they lean forward. Again, I'm just reading, or I'm just pointing out what that article said. Could mean nothing.
From my knowledge of the detectives and
from my knowledge of the detectives. So he's asking about that Neighbors app, the one that saw the girl running outside the CRV, and she's pretty much saying that she's saying no, not her, from what knowledge she has from the detectives. Like, why do you, I don't know, it just seems like she's inquiring what the detectives know. And again, it could be because, well, yeah, her friend's missing, you know, and I'm just ripping this girl apart. If that's the case, I will publicly apologize, you know, but it's just, to me, it seems like she's following the investigation very closely, even for like a friend. And the article spoke about people speaking very slowly. They're trying to make it seem like they're calm, they're not under stress. Everything that they're saying to you is accurate because they're talking to you in a slow manner, and like, don't think anything of it. You know, I'm just talking to you. But really, it's a telltale sign of deceit. But that's just what the article was saying. I'm just speculating.
It's not been confirmed nor denied that if that is Kiely, but we do not believe that her shirt has not been found. I can confirm that her shirt was not found, nor were any articles of her clothing at all.
Okay, okay.
And the way that she says, nor were any articles of her clothing at all, it's like, it could mean nothing, but to me, it's like, did she know that like some of her articles of clothing weren't on her? So she's saying like none of them, you know, like, because she knows like she was wearing this, and this, and none of them were found. I don't know. Hi, Allison. It's good to see you. Yeah, very much NK vibes as well. I agree.
I want to let's repeat that. The spaghetti strap shirt, that did not belong to Kielyrodni. Thank you for that, Sammy.
Yeah.
So I can. Laura Truan says you're doing a great job, Sammy.
Thank you.
So I'm trying to.
So yes, I just put this part in because like somebody complimented her in his chat, and they were like, "You're doing a great job," and she's like, "Thank you," but like she looks like she starts doing the eye flutter, like it's like she knows, like, oh, I'm no, my opinion. She knows more, and she's not comfortable with being told that she's doing a good job.
Great job, Sammy.
Thank you.
So I'm trying to think, what else can you tell us that can help? Anything? I don't know. Maybe did the car?
Okay, guys. So this part, they're talking about her vehicle, and something I always notice, and I know you guys have too, she didn't offer any good information until she was asked it. Everything about her clothing, her car, everything that is important, she had to be asked it to give the information. So finally, she remembers like to talk about the vehicle when he starts asking. And she's about to say something that we just remembered today, that we didn't remember before. Oh, thank you, Amanda S. Vita, Super Chat Train, Choo Choo. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. And everyone, check out Amanda S. Vita's channel. She's got really good information, web sleuthing. She gets all the goods as far as, you know, she's good at looking at Snapchat and everything else and seeing what Jagger and all them are saying. And she's using it for good investigative skills. She doesn't do it to point fingers. She's just very transparent in her research. So I definitely suggest subbing to her channel as well. Thank you so much, Allison. We're so happy to have you here. And that's just so kind of you. Thank you. Allegedly, Brittany, thank you so much for covering this. Would love to have you on my channel to discuss this. Amazing job. Yeah, definitely. I saw your comment earlier, like with CDT, that we would definitely have a great chat. So I'm down. So back to this. And thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Like, you don't even know. And again, just liking and subscribing is free, and that's all I ask for. So just hit that like right now if you haven't done so, and you know, I appreciate it. So this interview, guys, was done on August 11th. So she's doing this interview on All American Dream Chaser on August 11th. Kiely had been missing since the 6th. So she's about to say something that we remembered today is the sticker on the back of her car. Why are you just now remembering it today? So now I'm thinking before this interview, and again, there was a press release on this day too, which talked about, I can't remember exactly what they talked, the fighting, where they said that they wanted more videos of the fighting. That's the same day that she did this interview also. So she had already known before this interview that law enforcement knew about some fight. That's a side note. Here, she's going to say something that we remembered today. So the detectives weren't told about this Ram sticker from the friends, at least. Maybe Kiely's mom and family told them beforehand, but the friends remembered this on the 11th. And like, to me, that's just so red flag. Like, and Sammy's going to act all excited, like, yes, let me tell you about this. And it's like, why didn't they ever mention this prior to, the 11th? To me, it's just kind of strange, but here she's going to ask all excited that she's going to tell us about the sticker. Wasn't even remembered. She did not even remember the sticker for all these days. So she wasn't given this information to the detectives behind the scenes. She's flat out says it right here. Something we remembered and told them today. Huh?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so a lot of us just remember
So she's about to talk about the car scratching her neck. Yeah, so something that a lot of us remember today could mean nothing. Just want to put that in there, that she did a neck scratch talking about the vehicle. And remember, she did a neck scratch talking about the mother's feelings about things too. Like, these topics seem to make her body react in certain ways. I'm not saying that, she's uncomfortable, but if we're going to just analyze it through the body language stuff, I don't know.
Today, because again, we weren't ever really looking severely at her vehicle when we were just friends with her, but we do all remember that she has a sticker of a bull. We don't from high school and was going to attend college. And
here's a lot of past tense here when she's talking about her. Like, she was going to go to college.
She had plans for her life and she seemed really happy.
And I'm sure she wouldn't want to put her mom through this.
No,
her mom just is destroyed.
Her mom is her life. Her mom is fully invested in her life.
I could see that. I could see she's got very loving parents, and I could tell this is hard on them. And like I said, our thoughts and our prayers are with the family. We really want
head touching, hair touching while talking about the family again.
We really want the best. We want Kiely to be found. DJ,
anybody we meet, we love meeting people, and so that's what we were doing and everything.
You girls are amazing. I'm just impressed, but it's so sad that
you girls are amazing. And then her little smirk here. This wasn't why I did this clip, but I'm just noticing now. Like, is this duper delayed a bit?
This has happened. I just man, my heart in the car drove into water. Have they checked the water?
So this part. Somebody in his chat sent a super sticker, and this is obviously before her body and vehicle was found. And they're saying they think she's in the water. So this is where Sam is confronted with that theory. And again, remember, her theory at this point is Kiely was abducted. So now somebody in chat is saying the obvious theory that we all thought, she's probably in that lake. So this is her reaction as she's confronted with that option.
I'm sure they probably have, but is there anything?
Tight-lipped, and he's saying, have they dove in the water? Have they checked the water? And she's like indicating like she really wants to sell it as like, yeah, they did, she's not there. She doesn't say that, guys, but she comes very much across as, nope, they already checked. There's no way possible. And that's just my opinion. You guys let me know what you think.
You can tell us about, have they sent dive teams in, do you know, or anything like that? Or
yeah, so there have been dive teams sent in, and I can pretty much only say that they've done thorough searches through the waters, through the lakes surrounding.
Thorough.
They are searching the waters. They are searching the campgrounds and everywhere, related lakes that are near, because Boca and Stampede are two reservoirs that are near there as well. And they are doing searches through there every single day. They have been for the past 3 days. They have done extensive searches to points that you wouldn't even believe the FBI and those people they are going.
They've done extensive searches beyond the point that you would even understand, or whatever she says, like beyond the point of you know, like she's just trying to sell it so much that like, nope, she's not in the water. They've checked. Trust me.
And those people, they are going.
I'm impressed with what I've seen. I've seen some of this. Is this picture correct? She was
okay, guys. So this part, and thank you so much, Phil, for the super sticker. So happy to have you here. I'm so glad to have all you guys here watching this and breaking this down with me. Thank you so much. And hi, Roxanne. Good to see you. So this part doesn't have to do with her body language, but as I was reviewing it, I noticed this part, and I was like, very strange, in my opinion. He says, is this how far Kiely's house was from the campground area? And she's going to say yes, but then she's going to say, but she lived closer to that lake area above it. And then, okay, so basically I'm trying to say, yeah, her eye rolling gets me too. It seemed like, in my opinion, rewatching this for the 50th millionth time, she's trying to kind of emphasize that lake. Like, can you see my mouse? I don't know if you can. But anyways, the lake above the red dot. She, in my opinion, tries to emphasize that she lived closer to that lake. And in my opinion, it could be that she's just trying to redirect, like maybe dive teams or search areas or people's speculation or suspicion that she could be in that lake. And it could, I could be wrong, but I just noticed it this other time. Thank you so much, Alex Erickson. Yes, please give me a like and subscribe. And thank you to all the mods today. So that's just my feeling about this. You guys let me know what you think. But in my opinion, this millionth time that I've watched this, it sort of seemed like to me that she was kind of hinting at like they should check that lake out without saying it. Just reading between the lines. I don't know.
About 12 miles away. The Prosser family campground was roughly about 12 miles from her house. Is that correct?
That dot is not exactly where she was located. It's a little bit more to the right and towards the little blue lake that you can see up from it. It was a little bit closer to that lake, but
notice how she says that lake twice.
Definitely, that's about, yeah, it would have taken about 30 minutes for her. We've found out about approximately 30 minutes for her to drive.
And she started itching her face when she said 30 minutes for her to drive. Just saying.
Then I found her as I was leaving the party. I was making sure to find her, to tell her that I had another ride home and that I loved her and I want to say bye and for her to have fun at the party. And then when I left the party, we were pretty much on 89 with my ride. And she called me as I was in the car in the passenger seat, and she was like, hey.
More of that one eye blink when she said she called me. I look so funny doing this shit.
Hey, where are you? Do you still need a ride home? And I was like, no, I'm okay. Like, I'm in the car right now. I'm like getting driven home now. But Kiely did not have a set ride home, and I
off the road into a ravine. I don't know.
So yeah, then there was a part here where the host that's doing this interview says, I mean, she could be anywhere. She could have gone off the road in a ravine, and she's shaking her head no, and she's saying, yeah. And then she gets very like tight-lipped. Hold on.
A set ride home, and
off the road into a ravine. I don't know. But the phone, what about the phone? Can you tell us about her cell phone?
And then the other thing, and you guys have to go to the interview yourself. He says she could have gone off the road into a ravine, and she's shaking her head no, says yeah. And then he says, and what about her phone? And then instantly she jumps on that conversation to kind of go away from the whole theory that he said she could have driven off into a ravine. She doesn't want to talk about that, but then she starts to go into the phone like she did about the car, the sticker on the car, you know, like, oh yeah, so we don't exactly know the type of phone she has, blah, blah, blah. And she just goes on and on. To me, it's almost like she didn't really want to talk about the theory of like the ravine, driving off into a ravine type of thing. Like that, she's shaking her head no, and she's saying yes. She could have been uncomfortable there. And then now she wants to talk about the phone, you know, because that information she has no problem offering up. But CDT said we still don't know if Kiely's phone has been found exactly. Her cell phone, everyone else's cell phone metadata, the black box in the autopsy, you know, all that we need. And all that you would think that they have already. CCTV footage from the roadside assistance guy.
Is there anything specific you can tell us? Go ahead.
So then I found her as I was leaving the party. I was making sure to find her to tell her that I had another ride home, and that
hardly any eye contact here. And again, it's an interview virtually, but still.
I loved her and I always say bye, and for her to have fun at the party.
And that one eye blink.
And then when I left the party from high school and was going to attend college, and
all this past tense here, like was going to attend college, and
she had plans for her life, and
she had plans for her life.
She seemed really happy.
And I'm sure she wouldn't want to put her mom through.
She seemed really happy, and she was, you know, all past tense. Thank you, Mariah, for the super chat. Really appreciate you. Beautiful picture as well. And he says she wouldn't want to put her mother through that.
Through this.
No.
Her mom just is destroyed.
Her mom is her life. Her mom is fully invested in her life.
I could see that. I could see she's got very loving parents, and I could tell this is hard on them. And like I said, our thoughts and our prayers are with the family. We really want the best. We want Kiely to be found. A sticker.
Okay, guys, this is another clip that I just was like, holy, I don't know, guys. It's not making me feel good. Another conversation about her vehicle. This involved her vehicle. She's being asked. And I just feel like this whole little thing, she was uncomfortable.
Of a bowl on the back window that
you know, look how tight-lipped her mouth is this entire time. He's saying, okay, her vehicle, you know, had that bowl on the back, and like she's not even saying she's just shaking her head. Yes, looking off, not looking at him. You know, her lips are all, this whole thing is about like her lips. And exactly, Mandy, she knows more 100%. And this, if we're going to go by other references of behavior and manifesting through your physical mannerisms of if you're uncomfortable or maybe you're trying to lie or whatever, she's so tight-lipped in this little segment, more so than the whole 13-minute interview. And this is about her vehicle. And she's just like, you know, like she has no lips at all. And that, you know, I know more, but I'm not saying it. And then when she does say something, it's too late at that point, because her body language, her facial expressions to me means like, even though she does say something like, and she had a sunroof or whatever, it's like she goes back to holding her lips again. Hold on.
2013 Honda CRV. It's a silver car.
And there's a sunroof as well.
And it has a sunroof. Okay, that's another good detail. So it has a sunroof and it has a.
So here she's acting like, I'm giving you information, you know, it has a sunroof as well. But really the information that she could know that would be more helpful, she's holding back, which is why she's, you know, holding her lips, not making eye contact. Right here is another face where she's just looking like disgusted.
Bowl sticker. The time you saw her, can you tell us about
lips, tongue?
I guess give us a rundown of the party real quick. What I understand it was a large gathering party to come forward. So should we tell, you know, should we get that message out as well to everybody that was at that party that they needed? Who do they?
More shaking her head no, and he's saying, should we get that message out? She's shaking her head no, and she's saying, yeah.
Contact.
Well, I've been not in charge, but there's somebody else involved, and that's not confirmed. That's just what I believe. I think there has to be somebody else involved in this. But it's
another, like, you know, she's talking about her theory. She thinks she was taken pretty much, and there's somebody else involved, saying yeah again, shaking her head no.
in social media posts, there has to be evidence this party went down. I'm sure there's people taking photos or TikToks. I'm sure there's got to be a TikTok video of the fight or something, right? There's got to be something out there.
Yeah. So there's hundreds of videos. Everybody.
I don't know. Is anything else you'd like to say before we?
This part, I think, is the last one, guys. Anything else you'd like to say? Because this is like the conclusion of his interview with her. And then here she is holding her lips closed. Anything else you want to say? And I believe she shakes her head no. You know, she doesn't want to say anything. She has nothing left to say. And then after that, he asks her, before she gets a chance, I believe, to say yes or no, if there's anything else to say. He says, if Kiely was watching this right now, what would you say to her? And then she goes into this like minute and a half conversation about keep fighting. But here,
we let you go, and I know you're busy. I don't want to keep you tied up with us, but I greatly appreciate all your time. I'm going to keep following this, and it's very possible that maybe somebody did abduct her, that maybe somebody...
And here, somebody did abduct her, and she's in agreement there, 100, you know, because that's her main theory. Somebody else is involved.
Was watching her. I mean, it's just a sad possibility, but my goodness, our hearts. I don't know. Is anything else you?
So, guys, that was everything I had to bring to you. Let me just look through my notes real quick to make sure that I've covered everything. Again, thank you guys for being here. CDT is going live in, I believe, hold on, what time was that, Kelly, that you decided you were going to go live? If anyone hasn't checked out CDT, she has a great channel and we've collaborated many times. She's got very good information and research. So I highly suggest checking her out, and she's going live soon. I want to say 11 or 12. I don't know. She'll answer if she's listening. Either way, check her out. And this is just the whole interview right here in fast motion. So I'm just going to leave that up on the screen as I say goodbye to you guys. And okay, 11:15 Eastern time, CDT is going live. Oh, of course, an ad pops up. Okay, so check her out. Thank you so much, Mandy S., for becoming a member. I'm so happy to have you here, and you always bring good insight also. And everyone else, please leave your thoughts down below too. And, you know, let me know what you're thinking. Thank you, Susu, for subscribing. She said, wow, you are amazing. I agree with all you've said. Thank you so much for that compliment. It really is the community that really makes me think outside the box and kind of worked through things. Again, I'm not saying that our analysis here was, you know, scientifically based or 100% accurate, but we did go through some very interesting information from Duty Ron's live stream that talked a little bit more about stuff with toxicology and all that, because I mean, let's face it, the black box in the car, her phone, everyone else's phone in the area that was with her, the autopsy, the toxicology, time of death, all these things are going to be so incredibly important, and they're going to hold the answers and to all the questions that we have right now. So thank you guys so much for being here, and we will be talking very, very soon. And again, I just really appreciate everyone who watches on replay too. So thank you, and yeah, bye guys.